Oh boy, I have words to say about this topic I'm about to dive into. And honestly, I don't know to where to begin, to be honest. Self-destruction has been one of the biggest trends in my life. There are obviously various degrees of self-destruction, and mine looks a lot like, oh, you're feeling bad now? A little bit stressed? Let's make things worse by trying to induce diabetes. In my life, I have self-destructed with food, alcohol, weed, sex, boys, and buying too many scented candles. I'm aware it could be way, way worse. I've kept my jobs, I've finished school, but behind the scenes, I'm a goddamn mess. I've been able to control a lot of these tendencies most of my life, thanks to therapy and my parents funding my therapy for a better portion of my life. I've been able to control them except for very significant times in my life where I dove the fuck into the negative coping mechanisms. I wanted to write about self-destruction because I feel like all of us experience it to a certain extent. When you're at a point in your life when you know you're hurting yourself or leaning away from a good path, you know what's best and what better choices to make, but you don't do those things. You decide to do the things that are harmful or things that will fuck things up. Self-destruction can be so dark, scary, and even when these self-destructive tendencies are small, they can be dark and scary. As I'm sitting here, I am battling a few. I'm a person that loves to not take care of myself. Ugh, it feels so good to treat my body like shit. Eat massive amount of garbage food and drink all the wine and hard seltzers. For years, I had loads of behavior that punished my body and my mind, and I didn't care. These behaviors are easier for me to conceptualize. Eating a well-balanced diet and not drinking a bottle of wine a day is fucking hard. Don't I deserve to take it easy? Other people act this way, and they're fine. My birthday is March 29th, and if you could put two and two together, and you think about the last 2 years that we've experienced, we were all going through some stuff at that time. I was one of my first friends to have a pandemic birthday, and as we all know, they suck. They suck fucking hard. In 2020, I was trying to keep it together for the people around me, but we were all going through a lot. And internally, I was gearing up for a full-blown self-D day. Self-D, that sounds really dirty.
I like it.
I don't know if it makes it worse or better, but my self-destruction is very planned and meticulous. I know what I want to do, what it all involves, when I want to do it. I stock up on supplies and I schedule a recovery day for days or weeks after. In 2020, I legit took time off work to do this. It was a full-blown production. On the days leading to the 29th, my birthday, I purchased bottles of wine and Prosecco bottles. Plus, I was given bottles for my birthday, which, wow. I bought myself not one, but 2 cakes. I loaded my pantry and fridge like I was about to throw a 10-year-old birthday party. Chips, popcorn, candy, ice cream, frozen pizza, so much more. I wanted to satisfy any desire that came up that day and mask all the sad feelings that I was feeling about the world and myself. I also had plans to order from my favorite restaurants. It was a glorious couple of days of drinking straight from the wine bottle and having cake and salty treats in front of me at all times. Of course, that happiness was temporary, and it ended up in me crying for days after. You know what feels fucking great? Eating well and exercising. Who knew? We don't know her.
No.
Welcome to House of Stone. Welcome to House of Stone, the podcast where everyone has a story and we get into the nitty gritty of it all. Today, I have my guest, John Cortocois. He's a comedian and storyteller here in Montreal. He's one of my favorite people to watch on stage. He captivates the room with his honest, hilarious innocence. He was named one of Comedy Nest's Rising Stars in 2019, I believe, or 2020. 2020. He has been on the very popular podcast Risk for his storytelling. And he's been part of Zoofest OFFJFL a handful of times. Please welcome John Cortocois.
Hi.
Oh my gosh. Hi.
We're here. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Thank you for being here. Before we get started, what are your handles? How can people find you?
Yes. On Instagram, it's at John Cortocois. And for some reason on Facebook, it's John Cotroc. I don't know why.
Okay.
Cotroc. I should
Did you
change
just
that.
forget how to spell your name that day, or just decide to like
think I was trying to be,
half the name, half the name, or maybe so you don't want people from your work finding you? I don't know.
I thought it was gonna be like a stage name, but then I realized that my full name is terrible for people to pronounce. So I thought I should go with that fully.
Okay. Why is your full name terrible?
Not terrible. It's terrible to pronounce. Nobody could say it correctly.
Did I say it correct? Cortocois?
Oh, but I love you. Oh yeah, you did. Now you did.
I didn't say it right before. Cortocois.
Cortocois. But in French, it's Cortocois, yeah.
Okay.
But we could go either way.
Okay.
It's fine. Yeah.
All right.
But I've gotten Cococois, Cotrucus, Cotrucus, yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Cotrucus.
Yeah. And I say yes. Here, present. Yeah. Present here. John Cotrucus is here.
Yes.
Yeah.
No one is as in the history of names has ever been named Cotrucus.
Cotrucus, yeah.
Even if that was your last name, we're stopping this now.
Yeah,
we're changing the family name now. This is an embarrassing family name. We're not doing this. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad I pronounced it at least once properly.
No, you did great
today. So before we get started and the topic that I talked about, how did you get into comedy and storytelling?
Oh my gosh, let's go back. In high school, I wrote. Are we going really that back? Yeah.
I want to go. No, I want to know it.
Deep
I
dive.
want to know it all.
Abby,
of
let's
course.
deep dive. Okay, in high school, I was the class clown.
Okay.
I was getting in trouble, but not like
Really?
bad, just like talking a lot.
I never would have thought that.
Yeah, I
from
was.
You. You know what's funny? I don't know. This is about me. I'm turning it about me.
Well, it is
yet
House
again.
of Stone.
You're telling a story. I'm like, wait, I have something to add about myself.
Tell me
in high school, I don't know if in your high school, but there was a yearbook in my senior year that they named people most likely to succeed, most whatever,
most athletic,
Apparently, I was second runner up for class clown, and I was like, bitch, who?
Yeah.
No way, no.
I was best actor, but never did a school play. Not one time. There was no school plays.
You were nominated best actor, but there was no school plays.
School play.
Why did they even have that category?
No idea.
I think
because it was
dramatic. You were dramatic or something.
I think the yearbook never updated their best of, and then I was best actor, but I never acted in my entire life.
That is so funny.
And because of that, I'm like, well, we need to do a play since I'm best actor. So I wrote the high school play, the end of the year play.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And
did they perform it?
Yes, they let me produce it, write it. I didn't star in it.
You didn't star in it?
No.
You didn't, but you were the best actor.
Best actor. I never starred in it. And but I was in drama class, but they never did I wasn't in the Grease of 1999. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't the John Travolta of my graduating year. No, but yeah, so
you started writing.
That's when I started writing.
What was the play about before we move on?
The play was called Once Upon a Time.
Once Upon a Time.
It was so cute, and it's a fairy tale about fairy tales. And John and Julia, brother and sister, get asked by Mother Goose, who has Alzheimer's, to help her fix all of her stories because her evil sister Goosilla took her storybook and mixed up all the stories, and they have until midnight to get everything together.
You should have. I don't know what that high school should have. Okay, this person is brilliant.
It was
fucking
it was huge.
Brilliant. Let's pave the way. I don't know. Pay for your university. I don't know.
Yeah. No. It was huge. And because of that, then what happened was we made so much money because word of mouth and people started hearing it. No, I'm being serious. I'm being serious.
It was a high value production.
I'm not even joking. So listen to this. So We had no money. My budget was $0.
Yeah.
So I was very good friends with the teacher that does like economics, whatever. So I'm like,
So
you
they
have to
made the
sew all my,
costume.
you have to sew all my costumes.
Yeah.
And she's like, that's perfect because for the whole year.
Networking.
Yeah,
It's
I had
who
like
you
a
know.
sweatshop.
Yeah.
They were like doing all the
Yeah.
costumes. And then the art teacher, I'm like, you have to do my sets.
Yeah.
So she did all my sets. We had zero budget, like zero budget.
Yeah.
And then it was so successful. Yeah, we made so much money that the year after they got like a video projector, they got a camera, they
So
got like
this school like invested because of you. Now the theater has to be called John Cortocois.
it should be, but it's not. But yeah,
They should change it.
they should change
What
it
high
to John
school is
Couture.
this?
This is Laurel Hill Academy.
Lauren Hill
Lauren
Academy.
Get your shit together, please.
Yeah,
Thank you
we need a
very
theater
much.
named after John.
Yeah.
For sure.
But no, I left a legacy. There's still
Yes.
the bench in the magical forest that's in the office when kids get in trouble. They have to sit on
They
the
have to
bench
sit-
that like John and Julia and like Mother Goose sat on for like most of the play. That
Oh
was
my
like-
God.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yes.
That is so. Does any of your family still go to that school?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
But through
I would
like
just imagine your
friends,
nieces or
brothers and-
nephews are like, so my uncle made this.
No, but recently I was at a dinner and a girl was like, "Oh, if it wasn't for like the high school theater program, I'd be like
Yeah.
dead."
Yeah.
Like because she
Yeah.
was like, going through teen dramas and
Yeah,
whatever. And I'm
yeah.
like, "Oh yeah, what school did you go to?" She's like, "Well, it's all because of this play called Once Upon a Time." And I'm like, "I wrote that." She's like, "No, you didn't." I'm
Oh
like,
my
"Yes,
God.
that was me."
Oh my
But like I'm
God.
40 now and I wrote it when I was 16.
I don't care.
Yeah.
It was,
But I
so it
was
was more
still
than
like,
more than 20 years ago.
brag. Yeah, she
Yeah.
was like, "Wow." She's like, "That was you." She's like, "You kind of saved my high school
Yes.
life without even knowing." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like years later, she was in like grade 7
That's so
and she was
cool.
depressed and she was in the theater program because they had money now, thousands and thousands
Oh
of
my
dollars.
God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's so cute. I love
Yeah.
Do you still have a copy of this play?
Of
Can
course,
we-
I have a copy of the play. And not only do I have a copy of the play, but there's like a part 2 and a part 3 that I've written, but I never did.
Can we get the comedians of Montreal to gather and we put a play together for like Fringe?
Yes, 110%.
For like Fringe, and like
Yes, who
maybe
would
we
you
can
be,
like
Mother
make it more
Goose?
like PG-13 or something. Like,
No, but
like,
that's the thing. Even back then, like there was the vegetarian wolf because everything's messed up in like fairy
Okay,
tale land.
okay.
So he's strictly vegetarian, but like it was almost like he was gay. Do you know what I mean? Like his
Okay,
family didn't accept that he
okay.
was vegetarian. He was supposed
Yeah.
to be like eating
Yeah.
meat and whatever.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
even for the time, I was like ahead of the game.
Yeah, of course
Yeah,
you
yeah,
were.
of course.
Of course you were.
Yeah. So that's it. So then after that was 1999.
That was 1999.
That was 1999.
That's wild.
I know.
What
I'm
year were you
old.
born?
You're gonna hate me.
Tell me, so I can hate you.
1999.
You were born in 1999 when I graduated high school.
Yeah.
You're disgusting.
I can't look at people that were born in the
No,
like,
that's horrible.
90s and like late 90s and 2000s. I can't believe
No.
it.
No, negative. So, yeah, graduated high school.
Mm-hmm.
Life, drama, blah, blah, blah. Put everything away.
Okay.
Never wrote again.
No.
No,
okay.
never.
Okay.
And then I moved downtown from Chamonix.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I broke free from Chamonix Laval. And then
Okay.
I
Was
went
it
to...
for work? You moved downtown
No,
for
for
work?
life. Like
For-
'cause-
for life, to get away
live. Yeah,
from-
to get away and be
Okay.
gay and whatever. And
Okay. And
Yeah.
how old were you?
I was 20-something-ish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright. Yeah.
And then I saw the Fringe. I went to my first Fringe festival.
See, this is why the play has to be in French. Okay,
Yes.
go on.
It's
Go
full-
on.
It's going to be a
Keep
full
going.
circle moment. Yeah. And I saw this guy there, and then the same guy, Gerard Harris, I think his name was,
Not familiar.
British storyteller guy.
Oh, okay.
Very funny, yeah.
Okay.
And I bumped into him in Toronto, and I was with a friend, and he's like, why are you asking me about the Fringe Festival? Because I was curious just to know, like, how do you get in? Maybe to put the play, actually,
Yeah.
come to think of it. And he's like, what you should do just to start is you should write like a story and submit it to Confabulation.
Okay. And that's
Yeah.
where it started.
And I'm like, we'll see. I don't know. I don't think so. And then my friend was like, you have nothing to lose. Just write something and send it in.
Yeah.
Like, who cares?
Yeah.
But like after so long,
Yeah.
like this was like maybe 6 years ago.
Okay.
6-7 years ago ish.
Okay.
I'm like, should I, could I, whatever. So I did, I submitted and nobody got back to me.
Okay.
And I'm like, if I can't make it at like a Montreal Do you know what I mean? Like a little
Yeah.
writing contest in Montreal.
Yeah.
Like, what was I thinking that I could actually make it in, you know, like in
Okay, I
life
get
and
it.
whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm like, forget it. I'm never going to write again. But what happened was I had submitted too late for that theme.
For that. Okay.
So then they called me and they were like, we really want you. We read your story and we want you to perform. And I'm like, no, I would never get on stage. I'm best actor that's never been on stage. I would never get on stage.
Best actor that's never been on stage.
Did they just because you're gay? You're like best actor has to be the gay one, right?
Exactly. So I'm like, no, never. And this girl was like, no, I need to meet you. So I met her, and she like convinced me to do it. And I performed at the main line.
Yeah.
For the first time, and I only brought Janice, who you know.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, just Janice, because I was like nervous, and
Yeah.
I opened my mouth and I started by saying, "Hi, everybody," like I always do at every show.
Yeah.
And everybody started laughing right away.
Yeah.
And the whole crew of Confabulation was like, "You're really funny. You should just try to do comedy." And I'm like, "No, but like I'm a storyteller. I'm not fun. Like I'm not a comedian."
Okay, but your stories are very funny,
Right.
obviously.
Yeah. So then that transformed into, can you write it shorter? Can you tighten it up? Can
Okay.
you whatever? Make it into a set.
Okay.
And I accepted the challenge. And then I did some stuff with Sid at Comedy Works.
Okay.
And then the first time I was at the Comedy Works, the next day it burned down.
Oh wow.
So me and Sid have very good luck, because also cut to a couple of years ago, I auditioned for JFL.
Yes.
And then a week later, the world ended because there was the pandemic.
Wow.
Yeah. So I can't work with Sid because the world will end or whatever. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's not
Oh
cute.
no. Oh no.
Yeah. So, but that's how I got started. And then it snowballed. People started seeing me, started wanting me on their shows.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then I went to the Comedy Nest. I did the
Okay.
open mics at the Comedy Nest. And then got weekends, and then got the 2020 best of.
Yeah. That's
And now
amazing.
we're here.
That's so amazing.
1999.
How long was like the first story that you did at Confabulation?
Like 12 minutes.
12 minutes.
Yes.
Okay.
And I don't think you've heard it. Have you heard hot yoga?
I have heard hot yoga.
Okay.
Hot yoga, I heard at Tinder Tales. It was a Valentine's Tinder Tales.
Oh, okay. Maybe.
It was, yes, it was like the Tinder Tales of 2020. It was at like L'Astral, or now like Place TD.
Oh
or
my God.
whatever.
Yes. And I did hot yoga there. Yes.
Yeah. That's
yes.
a good story.
Yeah.
That's really
the very
good.
like tight
Yeah. Okay.
hot yoga. Yeah.
Yeah.
But hot yoga is like a good 12 minutes.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So it seems like this has always been in you, but
Yeah.
finally someone convinced you. Is your family funny? Like, have you always been like the jokester of the family?
My mom is very sarcastic. Like
Okay.
think Roseanne Barr.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Very sarcastic.
Yeah.
Very like that.
Yeah. Except
Like,
for the racism.
yeah, no, like pre-racism. Like we're talking about sitcom days. And my dad's very like every time he leaves the house, something happens.
Okay.
So I learned that type of long
Okay.
length storytelling from him.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
and his family too. They're very like in Greece. They're very like one thing happens, we talk about it for like a month, and we try to perfect it in how we're gonna say it to each other, and
yeah. Okay.
you know what I mean, and up it. You know what I
Okay.
mean. So my whole family's like that. We've always tried to
All
make
right.
each other laugh and up each other's
Okay.
punchline. Let's say.
Okay. And are you the only performer in the family?
I think I am.
Oh wow.
I'm trying to think.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe a little cousin of mine sings.
You're what?
A little cousin of mine, she
Okay,
sings. Yeah,
okay,
but
okay.
otherwright, no, I'm the only
Okay. All right.
comedian. Yeah,
That's
that
so
gets
cool.
noticed at Elixir.
I remember the first time I saw you on stage, actually. Yeah, it was actually at the OFFJFL show that we did together.
Oh, okay,
It was the
yeah.
first time I ever met you or like saw you on stage, and you were amazing. Yeah, I remember you being so nervous.
Oh, I'm disgustingly nervous.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I was very nervous too. Like, I was only a year into doing stand up, and I
Yeah.
had somehow got a Zoofest off JFL show, and I was just like, I'm going to throw up on the
Yeah.
stage.
Yeah.
But I mean, it went really well. I was really happy about it. But yeah, that was the first time.
But that's me every day, all day, every time. Even when you book me for your shows, even for like
Yeah.
at diving, like I'm nervous every time to that level.
Has it gotten any better over the years, or is it still like?
I think I've managed because before it was like 7 days before the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Then I
Okay.
reduced it to 4 to 2 days to the
Okay.
day before,
To
the
the
morning
day.
of.
Okay.
Now it's like an hour or two before.
That's progress.
It is progress. But I wish I could walk in one day and be like everybody that like just has a drink and is chatting with people.
I'm not that person either, and I don't think I will ever. Well, I mean, I kind of should chat, but then I get to a point where I'm like I know that the show's starting. I'm like, no, I got to get my head.
Yeah.
So like I start putting like barriers up around them and just like look at my notebook.
Yeah.
But yeah, the people that are just like, and then they go on stage and just
they're
like,
amazing or whatever. Yeah.
I'm definitely not like that. I have to like, even though I know my set, I know I just have to like be like, I don't know,
Same.
still or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
for
I have to
sure.
rehearse it to like make myself sick. That's what works for me.
That's what works for you. That's good. That's good. Well, it feels kind of weird to invite a guest to talk about self-destruction, to be
Right.
honest, because it's kind of like, like, hey, tell me how you fuck up your life.
Yeah.
Tell me how you fuck up your life. But I mean, can you relate to being self-destructive?
Oh my God, all the time. Yes.
Right?
Like if I have one good show, then won't book another show for like a month just to say that like, you know what I mean? Just to keep myself down. What?
That's so funny.
But it's true.
No, you just
Yeah.
I'm
Like,
going on a
this
high
was-
note. No chances
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
for
exactly.
failure.
And then I quit comedy the day after I do like one good show because I'm like, that's it. You know what I mean? But it's so dumb. I don't know why I do that. And I do the food thing too.
The food thing. Okay.
I've been trying so hard because of the pandemic to lose some
Yeah.
weight
Yeah.
and like
yeah.
I love the people like I would talk about, this line, the lifestyle people, that it's a lifestyle.
It's a
I'm
lifestyle. It's a
I love the
lifestyle.
lifestyle,
I
and
mean,
I
to be
hate
honest,
them.
it is a lifestyle.
But it is a lifestyle. I know, but that's the thing. It is a lifestyle. But then like I'll have a salad and then the next day I'll have McDonald's breakfast because I had the salad the night before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, I'm winning.
It's like there's two extremes.
Yeah.
Like it seems for sure. Going back to like, so I kind of get like you have a good set and then you're like, well, this is good. Let's not fuck things up. Like, let's just like, but I think it's also like, it's healthy to have like space in between sets as well. Like if that's what is best for you. But if the mindset is like, oh, I did well, better not book again. So it doesn't, I don't like, this doesn't fuck, like I won't fuck things up. I don't think that's.
But it's like I don't try to pick up on the momentum. Like I do sometimes, but then I get exhausted. But like I wish I could just pick up on the momentum, do it, and like punch them out. But instead, I stop myself and then get nervous again and have the demons come out and be like, "No, you suck. That was such a long time ago. A month ago, you did well. Like now you suck."
That negative narrative in your head can be fucking hard to get rid of for sure.
It's so hard to get rid of. And in the beginning, I was so nervous that I wouldn't even. At the Comedy Nest, funny story. Well, not funny, but like depressing. Even when I would go to the MC to watch a movie, I would never walk by the Comedy Nest because I was that nervous.
Really?
Yeah, no, I'm not even joking. Like it would make me have diarrhea. Just the thought of going to see a show. This is before comedy. This is before confabulation.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Just to walk by.
Just to walk by, I was like,
because
oh my God,
of the energy of the other comedians.
Yeah, like that's the dream. You know what I mean?
Oh,
to be
so
at
like
the Comedy Nest.
okay, so even before confabulation, like that was like the dream,
Yes.
and you're just like, I just don't need to be reminded of that.
That I can't do that, and I would never do that, and I would never go to shows. I wouldn't even go to see a show at the Comedy Nest. Never.
Did you see any stand-up shows? Like never.
No,
like
no. Even sometimes in theaters, like to go see like my niece or whatever. Like I would get nervous in theaters.
Oh my god.
Yeah, how crazy is that?
It's just you didn't want that reminder of like what your dream
What I could have
is.
done. Yeah, exactly. What the dream was. Yeah, I
my
didn't want to
God.
face the dream ever.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
isn't that
That's so
crazy?
interesting. No, it's
No,
not crazy.
I relate hard with that. Like sometimes there's like a comedian I really like, and like Hannibal Buress is like my favorite comedian, but like I can't not watch anything he does now because it's like that's what I want to be, and like every time I'm reminded of like that's like the difference between where I'm at and where he's at.
Yeah.
It could be
So I
like
avoid
I guess a depressing reminder, and like it's overwhelming for sure because you're like, oh, I have to do so much work
Yes.
to get to that, and so many mental hula hoops or what barriers to jump over.
Exactly.
But like, good for you for like, you go to shows, you do shows now.
Yeah,
that's
now
amazing.
It's a completely night and day for sure.
Like, if you, what was it? It was about, you said 7 years ago that you started?
Yeah, 6-7 years ago.
6-7. Like, if you could tell like 10 years ago, John, like, what would you tell him?
Oh my God, just do it. But
just do it.
Get up and do it. Like, but also like everybody's different. Some people plunge into the pool. Some people put their toe. I'm a toe person.
Yeah.
And I'm not a plunge into anything type of person.
Okay.
So, but I would have told him, just send it to Confabulation. You never know. Or to whatever writing. Or, email Comedy Nest for the open mic and just try it one time, you know?
But it definitely, like, I've definitely in my life, I've definitely been like, let's put a toe in type person. But now, because now I'm like the opposite. I'm like, let's dive the fuck in.
Yeah, but I love
like,
that.
I'll fake it till I make it.
Yeah.
But it took so fucking long to get to that, like, to be that person. Yeah. And even now, like, I'll dive in and I'll be like, the fuck am I doing? Like, I shouldn't have done this. And all that self-doubt comes in, and it's really, really hard. But I mean, I'm glad that you submitted to Confabulation. That's
God
so cool.
bless Confabulation.
Oh my God. Is it still, like, Confabulation is still around?
It's still around. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
what is Confabulation?
It's a storytelling community.
Yeah. So it's a production company, and there's a lot of different producers, and so it's a storytelling show. Like, we have like So we have like a comedy community. There's a storytelling community that exists here in Montreal, which I love. Like,
and you and I have played in both.
Yeah. So I really, really love storytelling. I think it was Fernando and I actually took a storytelling class with Jeff Gandal.
Oh yes.
This was
Jeff Gandal.
Yeah. He was a Dawson.
He was my teacher. He wrote a play that was in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he used to teach for the Montreal Improv, the storytelling, and then he sort of branched away from that, and he did like independent storytelling classes, also with Nisha Coleman, who was an amazing storyteller.
Brilliant.
I can't
Out
even
of this world.
comprehend her mind. So yes, I guess it was 2019 that we took the class, and it was like a level 1, and it literally it changed my comedy completely, and it changed the way I write, and it gave me like different tools to write. It gave me different, like, even though at the time I've been a stand-up comedian for a few years, it gave me like how to present myself on stage differently. And the importance of workshopping things, where I would and different ways to workshop things, where I would just write something and say it on stage, and if it didn't work, I would just scrap it all together. But I would just be test it out on people before, or try it a different way, be kind of fearless or whatever. I also really loved in storytelling playing with a different emotion other than humor or happiness. So in my first storytelling, the graduation class, I told a story, I injured my leg 10 years ago, and I told the story of me having this accident and calling my mother and having been taken in the ambulance, and it was all this dramatic, telling that dramatic story, and me being going into emergency surgery and thinking I was gonna die and all of that, and it was just such a contrast to me going on stage and telling jokes. And then what I also noticed, sorry, I'm blabbling on about it.
I love it.
What I also noticed is that when I would have these moments of tension in the story, and you flip it and make some sort of sarcastic comment, simple, low bar stuff, people lose their mind.
Yeah, for sure.
They laugh so hard because they're dying for this relief.
Relief, like a break.
This break. So I loved. I mean, maybe this makes me a sociopath. I don't know, but
100%.
I really, really, really loved experimenting with that so much. And I think part of this podcast, I do this monologue story time at the beginning. It's just for me to just use some of the stories I've written, and even though I'm not 100% performing, but like just to get them out there. So I really, really love the art of storytelling, and some of my favorite comedians, they do storytelling a lot of the time. And I saw this trend at the last festival. I think it was 2019 then, when it was actually in town, where there was a lot of comedians that would do their hour that was like a lot of storytelling based. Oh gosh, I can't even remember his name, but like there was this man that went on stage and he literally talked about sexual abuse, trigger warning, sexual abuse. And he got the audience there and it was tense. And then he broke the tension and like got us back and to the, like a more like brighter place. And it was just so beautiful to see the writing and how you can do that on stage. It was so cool. Yeah.
Do you find that like comedians in general not value more, but how can I explain it? Like storytelling comics versus stand-up comics. Do you know what I mean? Like, do you think there's a divide?
I don't
Or is it getting better?
I think it really depends on the preference.
Okay.
Like, I think some comedians are stuck on like, it can't be storytelling. It has to be like
set up punch,
or like maybe the setup is a little longer than punch.
Right.
I think like it's both valued but like I find when I was in the storytelling class and among that community, they didn't really know how to navigate the stand-up scene. They're like, oh, I don't know. Like, I'm like, your story's funny. You can definitely go on at an open mic and do it. They're like, no, this is storytelling. And I'm like, no, you could, like, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think, Zach? Do you think there's a divide?
I think there's like, you could tell who's a type of like comic, like there's like some people like Harrison.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say like he's like not really a storyteller, but you kind of need storytelling elements in all your jokes because they're essentially the same exact thing.
Just shorter.
Literally just shorter,
Mini.
right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like if you could write a joke, you kind of know how a story goes, but the better you know how to write a story, the better your jokes could be.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, for sure.
And also if you want to be a good comic, like you're saying, like people do like hours and they do longer stuff. So like, you're eventually probably going to tell a story, so you should be good at telling stories. And I think that like
as a base, foundation.
But also just to get big, like people like stories, right? There's like some of the biggest like stand-up comedians are like known because they have one story that they tell and people love hearing it. But like you can't say that for other jokes.
Right.
Like once you hear like a set of punchline joke, that is almost vanished, you know?
Yeah.
A story,
you're known for your story. That story, you remember the
takes
story.
you somewhere. There's an emotional thing. It's longer, right? So I feel like if you want to be successful, you have to know how to write a story.
Yeah. Like people come up to me all the time and they're like, it's a lifestyle. And sometimes I forget it and I'm like, what's a lifestyle? Or recently I was at Musique and I did my hair flip when I'm like, and the bouncer, I went downstairs and the bouncer's like, hey, you. And I was like, what? And he's like, can I get a hair flip? And I'm like, what? And my friend was like,
he's
it's in your set.
Am I
and I'm
about
like,
to get punched?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, a hair flip. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
I'm like, but it's a part of the whole story. Do you know what I mean? But like, it's in the story, like throughout the story, but I don't remember it as a punchline. It's just like a stupidity that I do. Do you know what I mean? Like an off thing. But But he was like, can I get he thought it was the funniest thing. And he was the bouncer that was like just roaming around. I didn't even know he was paying any attention to me. I thought he was going to beat me up.
That's so fun.
But we have an inn at Musique if you want to go.
Oh.
He loves me.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, just do the hair flip at the door.
I'm just gonna hair flip the 3 hairs that I have, and I'm gonna get in to Musique.
So confabulation is still around.
Yes.
Yeah. That's really cool. And I mean, you're in both worlds, like storytelling and stand up.
Yeah.
What audience do you like better?
Ooh, that's a great question. It's so funny because it really depends not on the genre, like whether it's storytelling, it's just the people. Like
okay.
And I'm always shocked because I am a gay man. I'm always shocked at like the straight Greek guys or Armenian guys or whatever that start hysterically laughing at my Dr. Meow story. And I'm like, really? Like that's my target audience? Like I thought it would be women from like, 25 to like 45, not like straight guys. Yeah. But there's something.
I mean, maybe they identify with having a
freakiness.
Kinkiness. That, like, I don't know. Like repels women. Maybe. I don't know. But I mean, it's objectively funny also, that story. Like,
and it's universal. Like everybody's been on a weird date.
Yeah.
Like unless you haven't left your house, like you've been on a creepy date. Like somebody.
Oh yeah, for sure. Would you say weird. Like I know the joke, audience, like listeners will eventually know the joke.
Yeah.
But like, is that the weirdest date that you've ever been on, or has there something that's topped that?
Well, there's a part 2 to Dr. Meow.
Oh my God.
That I have never said to anything.
Can you say it right now?
Can you like briefly just recap Dr. Meow?
Yeah.
It's a guy that I went on the first date with, and he licked my face and meowed like a cat and said that he was a cat.
Yes.
And he had a kitty litter box in his house, but he didn't own a cat.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So that was.
Yeah. Zach is being a better interviewer than I am right now. I'm like, give context, Abby, for the love of God. Jesus Christ.
That's so funny. But yeah, no, he was, But you also, I feel like when freak things like that happen, I feel like to each their own, not a problem.
Yeah.
But maybe wait like date 3,
date
7.
3. Give some talk about it.
Yeah, like
talk
get me
about
in,
it.
get me
like,
invested.
Hey, he did bring you to his place, so maybe he couldn't hide it, so he just dove right in.
No, he dove right in. Yeah, he was not a tippy toe person into the realm of like creepy and like kinky.
Yeah, I mean, there should be a conversation. If it definitely, like, universally, I think for kinky stuff, there definitely should. And I'm not like, this isn't like, I'm not saying absurd things right now, or like,
I'm not shaming any kinky
I'm not shaking
people.
ground here, but like, yes, like, talk about
simple, even as like, are you a dog person or a cat person?
Yeah.
Like start slow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, I'm into cats.
yeah, exactly. Because I would have said I'm a dog person, and then maybe he wouldn't have meowed and licked my face.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Said that he was a cat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so strange.
It's
Elspeth
so
was here
strange.
last week and told us a story about being on a date, and so this man was just singing on the date, like Disney songs, and like she couldn't really. Anyway, so there's a part 2 to the cat story.
There's a part 2 to the cat story because I gave it a second chance.
You gave him a.
I did.
Did you do it for the story?
I did it for the story for sure. I did it for
Oh
the
my
story.
God! Of course.
But I kind of fell into it. It wasn't even my doing. I was at a party in the building. A friend of mine lives in his building. I can't believe I'm saying this to you. And he's like,
I'm not gonna
for the world to hear. So I'm at this party. It's a rooftop party. Mm-hmm. He's there because he knows my friend that they all live in the same building.
Yeah.
Rich people, rich building. Mm-hmm. There's no water.
No water.
No water.
No one got a case of water.
Not one
no
bottle
tap?
of water. There's no tap. Unless I go to the bathroom for like a sink and like splash water into my mouth, there is no water. There's cheeses from like Narnia that are like, you know what I mean? Like the most expensive
Rich people only
cheese.
drink wine. Only drink 100 bottle
wine
like,
and Perrier. I can't drink Perrier. When you're thirsty, you need, for me, I'm sorry. Am I?
What do you mean? You're sorry.
But like Perrier's not refreshing, or am I wrong?
No, not at all.
Why you're
not
apologizing for having an opinion about what Perrier? You're allowed to have an opinion.
I don't want to shame Perrier drinkers.
I'm like actively drinking Perrier.
Sponsored by Perrier.
Yeah, please.
No, we love
I would
Perrier.
save so much money.
But we love Perrier. But I'm just saying that it doesn't quench your thirst.
Yeah,
you know what I'm trying to say? So I'm dying. It's a summer day and I'm dying and I just need, there's Coca-Cola, there's, like you said, the $1 million bottles of wine and champagne and whatever.
Yeah.
There's cheese that makes you salty and thirsty. There's capricoli and all the meats and whatever. And I'm like dying.
All the salty treats.
All the salty treats,
water.
crackers, no water. There is zero water. So I'm dying of thirst, and you could see in my face that I'm like really not happy about this. Like I'm getting annoyed now, and I'm going to leave early because I need a fucking bottle of water.
Yeah.
He's there. He's like, what's wrong? I'm like, I'm very thirsty.
Okay.
He's like, why don't you come downstairs to my apartment? I have water.
Yes.
And I'm like, I am so thirsty. I'm gonna go. Now, did he think that this was a, you know, like code word for sex? No, I'm thirsty.
You're dying of, you're dehydrated. You're about
not for the D, but for actual H2O. So we go downstairs into his apartment, and he's like, I'm gonna just go to the bathroom 2 seconds. I'm like, sure. I'm so thirsty that I'm going through his cupboards to find a glass to put water. I'm not even kidding. I can't even wait for him. Like my mouth is dry. Like I'm dying.
Yeah.
And he gets out of the bathroom like a cat.
Sprints out like a cat.
Like very silently and like creep. Like what's it called?
Was
you know
he
what I mean?
on all fours?
No.
Okay.
My God, no, he wasn't on all fours.
I thought
but
that was the...
when I say it on stage, he will be on all fours. But he like ninja-ly came where I was, and I'm filling up my glass with Brita, and he whispers in my ear. Hadn't noticed him there, and he whispers, and I'm not lying to you.
Oh no!
Are you scared? Yeah. Yes. I'm fucking scared.
I'm terrified.
Who says that? How is that like flirting?
Are you scared?
Are you scared? I'm putting a glass of water. Why would I be scared? You freak of nature.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah. So I guzzled the water.
Yeah.
And I left.
Yes.
Yet again, I ran out.
Are you scared?
Are you scared? Why would you say that? That's not a pickup line.
It's not a
Are you
pickup line. I'm just
scared?
trying to. What was the end game? Like he wanted you to be scared.
Scared,
Cats
yeah.
scare other cats?
Yeah, maybe like the thing or whatever. I don't know. That's like so like he's like shook. Are you okay?
I'm trying. Like that's like.
You broke Zach's brain.
I broke Zach.
You
I broke
broke
Zach.
Zach's brain.
Guys, I broke Zach. He's literally like
It's like he's like proud that he's like
creepy.
So, yeah, he's proud of
Yeah.
it. It's like in like, you know,
Okay.
50 Shades of Grey, like
Yeah.
he shows off that sex dungeon. You know, it's almost
Yeah.
like it's
scared?
You're acknowledging that this is weird, but also you're knowing that you're doing this to someone.
yeah, like maybe that's another kink, you know, like to
Yeah.
scare somebody.
Cat and power dynamic thing.
Yeah.
That's
That's, yeah. Anyway, so on our third date, no,
Oh my God.
we had sex.
we had sex. So I fucked him. But no. I ran out. No, I ran out.
Yes.
And I went upstairs, and I'm
what
like,
was like the departing words? That's what I want to know. Like,
I'm like, yes, I'm scared
yes,
right
I'm
now.
scared.
I'm like, are you okay?
Goodbye.
Like, who says that? That's what I
Yeah.
told him. I'm like, who says that? Are you okay?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, come on. And he was like, kind of like, you know, thrusting towards me. And I'm like, this is not thrusting towards me. Thrusting. Like, thrusting to, yeah, like thrusting.
No.
Yes. Thrusting towards me. And I'm like, no. I'm going back upstairs. Thank you for the water.
Yeah.
And I told off my friend, I'm like, might purchase a case of bottles of water before I get killed downstairs and chopped up into little pieces because John vanished. You know what I mean? Like, where's John? We don't know. He's held captive in room whatever, in condo 407 or whatever it was.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Abby.
And you're like, so he's mutual friends with
A friend of mine,
a
yeah.
friend. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And he doesn't know that you have this story on stage.
No.
Well, you never know.
No, and the worst thing is that in the beginning, I used to be very detailed.
Yes.
Until one day I saw a video, somebody recorded me at, remember Emma used to do Tinder Tales at that basement, like Stranger Things, creepy basement place, Psychic City, Psychic place.
Psychic place. I don't
Psychic
remember.
City, like
They have a
underground.
library. There's a library back room or something like that.
Something, yeah, but it was like underground and there was like little Christmas lights. Anyway, somebody videoed, not important, I don't know why I'm like painting you a picture, but like somebody videotaped me there, and in the audience, when I play it back, you hear two different people go, I know who it is. So ever since then, I'm like, I very much cut it to, and now with this story, for sure, they're going to know who it is. But doesn't matter. But because how many rooftop millionaire condos have I gone to?
Yeah.
Not many.
No, you go to them
Don't
every
expose yourself
weekend.
like that.
Whatever. It is what it is. I'm famous now. People at Elixir know me.
Yes.
So
That's true.
Yeah. So I've reduced it to very little details.
Very little detail.
Yeah.
Okay.
So no, he does not know.
Yeah. So
unless somebody's told him, but I don't
yeah.
think so.
So when is like part 2 coming out? Like when are you gonna start performing part 2? Or do you need like a longer set? Do you need like a longer set? Like,
I feel like I feel like maybe like in some time.
like a 15-minute set, and then you can go to like part 2.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll find you a 15-minute set because I need.
You want to hear that?
I need to hear it.
Okay, but that's good because that'll challenge me, and then I'll do it for you. Like I would never sit there and write it for myself, but I would write it for you if you put me on a show.
Of
Okay,
course,
that's good.
of
Okay,
course, of
okay, we'll do
course.
that. We'll do that.
So I mean, we're talking about dating. Has there any time that you've like been dating that like you know that you've been very self-destructive? Like you knew like, okay, things are going well, but I'm gonna fuck the things up.
Oh yeah, when I
Really?
like go and I like the person's Instagram and I heart everything like 37.
You do that?
I do that, but then I realize that that's psychotic.
It's a little bit, yeah.
It's psychotic. It's a turn
Everyone is going on their Instagram.
Yeah.
Like if you meet someone you like,
Yeah.
you like no doubt you will go deep.
Yes.
On their deep.
But like
you don't
one
want
picture.
you don't want to leave a trail.
No.
You don't want to leave a trail because
No.
then you're like,
No.
oh. Because like I'm like so hypocritical because if like someone did that to me, be like, well, I looked at all your photos, but I don't. If you're liking mine, like, are you a crazy person? Like,
But see, I find it's cute. Like if
guess.
somebody blitz liked my entire
Yeah.
Instagram, I'd be like, who is this?
I guess
But when
so.
I do it to people, they don't like it. And like there's proof in the pudding. Like people do not like it.
okay.
Yeah. They block me.
Oh no.
Yes, they block me. Yes.
No.
And I'm like,
Okay.
oh, okay, that was too much.
Okay.
That when
Yeah.
you deep dive and you heart
Yes.
everything.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I'm trying to explain to you that like, hi, I'm over here. Pay attention to
Yeah.
me. I
Yeah,
like your
yeah.
pictures. Talk to me.
I wish people weren't, to be honest, I wish people weren't as sensitive
Yeah.
to that because it is endearing, right? Like
Yeah.
you are expressing interest. Like I find so many people that I seem to be like attract are so like withholding.
Right.
And just like emotionally unavailable
Yeah.
or like guarded. And so like if they are just real, then
Yeah.
I would be like, oh, this guy is nice. But then
like,
there's
I like
also
you.
there's also a point where you cross. Like if you're liking my photos from my trip to Ireland in 2016,
sick. You're a
I'm
little
like,
sick.
I know you went down like
you scrolled
hundreds.
You scrolled too much.
Hundreds of
You
photos.
scrolled way too much. You
Yes.
had a lot of time on your hands.
Yeah,
to do
so
that.
it's a
Yeah.
little intense. It's
No,
a
I
little-
get it.
But then if it's the right person, it's the right. It's like, oh yeah,
Right?
that's
Yeah.
so cute.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's so funny that one thing could be such a turn off, and then at the same
It's
time,
so
if you like
funny,
them,
right?
you're like, I love his snoring or whatever it is.
I
you
know. I feel like
Like licking someone's face.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the thing. There's for sure a person for him. I'm
Yeah.
sure somebody else would have been like, lick it harder or whatever. Do you know what I
Yes.
mean?
I
Or
am
yes, I am scared. Scare me more. You know, like
God.
yeah, exactly. But like, ooh, ah, boo, or whatever. But like, not me.
Maybe he's looking for the right mouse. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
The-
But literally,
Yeah. He's looking
but
for
the right
his mouse.
Mickey. Yeah,
The cat
exactly.
is looking for his mouse.
Exactly.
He will find it.
He will find it.
It's weird. It's so weird. It's so
wrong.
weird. But I mean, good for this person for
Yeah.
just like, knowing what he likes.
Fly your kink flag.
Yeah.
Go for it.
exactly.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Exactly. I'm not one. I'm just very not kinky and like, but it's
Same.
interesting to hear about other people's
Yeah.
kinks, Anyways, well, we're at the point of the show where I ask my last final questions.
Okay.
We always end the show with like last few questions, and then we end it.
Okay. The end.
I mean, I feel like we've already gotten into this, like what inspires your comedy, and it really like, I mean, what inspires your comedy, I'm guessing, is just real life experience,
real
like
life.
the rest of us.
Yeah, I have to live because that's my stuff, right? I live it. I tell Janice.
Yeah.
I write it. I perfect it, and then I put it on stage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
Exactly.
And what is your ultimate goal in comedy? What would you like to see your career go?
I would love to be at a place in comedy where like it's my actual living.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't mean like a private jet.
No.
But
no.
like just
private
like,
jets would be nice though.
Yeah, it would be nice. Let's not limit the universe.
Let's not limit the private jet money.
Yeah, exactly. But no, that's really what I would love. I would, because I really love making people laugh.
Yeah.
You know that. Like I love, making people cheer up and all that stuff. So I would really love not to be stuck on the phones, call center life. Like, you know what I mean? Like I want to be doing something that I'm actually passionate about full time.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the goal. That's the dream.
Yeah, absolutely. What is your deepest passion on that note?
I think that like making people laugh and like, I love like the words of it all. You know what I mean? Like even on stage, just switching a word here and there to see what gets a bigger laugh and like
the art of it.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. The art of it. Like the structure, the art of it. Like the writing process is my favorite part.
Oh, absolutely.
Stage for me, I hate it.
Yeah.
After I'm off stage, I'm happy. But like on stage, if I'm doing well, I'm happy.
Yeah.
But like that before 30 minutes of nervousness, I hate that part. Like that's not.
I think you'll shorten that eventually. I'm sure it'll get easier. I mean, it has for me. I used to like be a person that stared at a wall for like days before. But then it got easier and easier. But I like what you're saying, like the art of it, like the meticulous little details, because that's where the comedy is. It's like those little details. It could be just like taking a pause in between a word that like causes like changes everything. And it's just so freaking magical. I love it so much.
Me too.
My last question, what is one of the hardest moments in your life?
I think it's probably letting go of all those insecurities, the demons, getting off that couch.
Yeah.
And actually pressing send to confabulation that first time. I think that was the hardest thing that I had to do. Because then after that, everything snowballed, so it was easier and things were coming. Do you know what I mean? But it's that first initial step.
Okay.
I think with everything, right? Like weight loss, like me too, like for the weight loss, like putting on the running shoes is the first step. You know what I mean? Just put on the fucking running shoes. Just
taking, it's to get through those mental barrier, for sure.
Exactly.
What inspires you to take care of yourself? This isn't one of the last questions.
Now it's honestly because I find I'm out of breath when I do 15 minutes.
Okay.
So like I want to keep up with being able to be on stage and do more shows and not be so exhausted and be able to balance like my full-time job with full-time comedy. And I want to look hot at 45.
Yeah. Didn't you just have a 40th birthday?
Yes, I did have my 40th.
You just had your 40th birthday. That's amazing. Happy birthday.
Yeah, but that's it. I wanna feel good. Like it's time.
You will look hot at 40. You look 45. You will look hot at 50. You will look hot at 60.
I love you.
I mean, Greek people always they're very attractive people.
Thank you. I love you.
I love you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh, this hour just like flew by. I can't believe it. We're like basically at an hour. I had so much more to talk about. No, it's fine.
Okay,
it's beautiful. That's like the best part of it.
Good.
So this has been House of Stone. Thank you all so much. I want to say thank you to our funders, our sponsors, Pantelis Comedy for letting us use the studio and his team, Poseidon, Zach Kicks on the ones and twos, Fernando, the social media whatever manager, whatever
guru.
I don't know why I said it like that. Social media, whatever. And I want to thank the listeners. Please follow, subscribe, like, and thank you for being here. Thank you.
Thank you.